Hello my peeps! Welcome to the first ever Q&A video that I've ever made. I've always wanted to make one, but until just recently I felt like it's way too self-indulgent and kind of like, look at me, this video is all about me. Yeah, but I thought, because we hit 10k subscribers on this channel, I thought, it will be a little treat. And I do have all the questions on my phone. If you've sent multiple questions, maybe I will not be answering all of them, and it might be that we run out of space on our SD card and I will not be able to answer all of them, in which case I will try my best to get back to you on Instagram and answer your question there. Okay, I hope you like my Slytherin sort of academia look today. This is Spotify. This is not my notes. Boop boop. This is kind of a crappy time of the year to make videos. As you probably know, we are back in lockdown now, so nothing is happening. We are technically not really allowed to go out to shoot. Also, it's really cold outside. The weather is not that bad, it's kind of sunny cold, so it's quite photogenic. But last time when we went out to take pictures of Edinburgh in the snow, I got chilblains in my photo hand. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but this is my good hand, this is my chilblain hand, and it has like blisters on it and stuff. Anyway, let's get to the questions. So first one is from Mr. Jones LC. How have you coped with not being able to go to restaurants or for a pint? Well, I usually don't go for a pint anyway, but when it comes to restaurants, obviously the biggest bummer was that we weren't able to make videos about food and drinks in Edinburgh, so yeah, that sucked. I think that in the start it was quite great to take advantage of how local businesses were really creative with, their deliveries and kind of like make-at-home kits. That was a lot of fun. Then kind of later in lockdown we got more into cooking ourselves, and then we really enjoyed just saving money. So that was nice too. I think that obviously it's good to support local businesses, but there is a silver lining to not eating food from restaurants and just cooking your own food, which is money. N.A. Briggs 94 asks, what do you like to do? Where do you go when you need to clear your head? At the start of the lockdown, I really enjoyed going to the Holyrood Park, but I got totally just like fed up with it later. I think that right now going to Holyrood Park has like no effect on me whatsoever when it comes to relaxing anymore. Sometimes I quite like to like briskly walk up Royal Mile, which is also quite close to where we live, which is kind of nice because like at the end of it you have the castle, and right now it's kind of nice going to these like touristy spots when there's no tourists around. I think that is kind of special, and I like doing it before tourists come back. Obviously, I will be happy to see tourists coming back to keep Edinburgh businesses going, but until then, it's again like a little upside of everything that's going on. I would say. Otherwise, I also like to play like fantasy RPG games. I think that that's really relaxing for me because I get to kind of imagine I'm someone else, like, a cat wizard in Skyrim, or a sexy elf lady who's romancing 5 people in Dragon Age Inquisition. Woo! Yeah, it's basically a dating simulator. So Splendid asks, do you see yourself one day living somewhere other than Edinburgh? I would like to try, but I don't think that I would like to necessarily settle somewhere else than Edinburgh forever. I always really wanted to try living in Japan, but kind of lately I just imagine maybe I would rather take advantage of my own kind of work flexibility and the visitor visa, which is, 3 months in a year. Maybe I would do that. Maybe I would go to Japan for 3 months and stay there for a longer time and have like a short-term rent going on and explore and also work from there. I think that's something I would really like to try. Also, it would be great to go to Prague for a bit. So that used to be a really realistic plan, because when we still were in the European Union, it would have been really easy for both me and Simon to just like pack our bags and go to Prague. And we were kind of thinking maybe if we get kicked out of this flat, next place to go would be Prague. But right now with Simon's British passport, he cannot do that. I mean, he could do it for, I think, 3 months as well. But in my head, I would like to stay for, let's say, 10 or 12 months and then come back to Edinburgh. I think that would be nice because obviously quite a lot of my friends and family are in Prague, and I miss Prague as a city as well. It's a great place to just kind of be, you know. I love all the beautiful nooks and I really miss them, especially in 2020. It was pretty sucky. I really miss Prague. Just this morning I found out that the flight that I planned for spring, optimistically, has been cancelled, so God knows when I'm gonna see Prague next time. Makusisakova asks, what spicy fanfic of yours are you most proud of? Okay, I wouldn't necessarily use the word proud, but I think that I'm quite impressed with one of my first ever fan fictions, which I wrote when I was kind of like 13/14 years old, and I still see it as my literally magnum opus. Can I tell you about it now? Yes, finally.
Cliff notes only.
Okay, so basically me and my friends are two models. This is a self-insert fanfiction, obviously. We are models and we are in New Zealand, and we're essentially like doing like a fashion photo shoot on the set of production of Lord of the Rings, and my friend ends up dating Viggo Mortensen and I end up dating Craig Parker. I'm gonna show you their pictures, just, you know, so you know what's going on. I think that at some point there was like some scenes about my friend Lucy and Viggo getting married, but then their honeymoon was like camping and she hates it, and that's pretty much all I remember. Madame Tiffane says, my 9-year-old loves you. Aw, that's really cute. She wants to know how old you were when you started drawing. Okay, I'm gonna get a bit deep on this because I don't think people, or like, you know, everyone starts drawing when they are kids, right? Like we all draw as kids, and it's kind of a way of communicating with each other and expressing ourselves. And I think that it's more important to kind of like think about when we stopped drawing. And I think that probably some of the best artists never stopped drawing. But I think I had a moment between probably like in high school. I didn't really draw that much. And when I came here, when I first moved here, I actually didn't draw almost at all. I was kind of like, well, this is not gonna be my career. Why would I keep doing it? And then I had to kind of like re-fall in love with it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is probably healthier to think of drawing as a way of communication and not this like amazing high art that you have to like work on super hard and get better and better at. It is an amazing and effective way of getting something from your mind to another person. So honestly, just never stop drawing, and it's gonna bring people joy, and you're also gonna be able to like tell stories and thoughts better than with just using words. Keep drawing, peeps. So there's a couple from Anna Sior Stan. First of them is your partner Czech? No, he's English, so he's not even Scottish. Ha, drama.
Might as well be.
Where in Czech Republic are you from? I'm from Prague. I'm a pretty like a basic Czech. Why did you move to Scotland? I moved here to study my postgraduate degree, and then I just stayed here, mostly because of Simon, but also because one of my life dreams was to live in the UK.
For the boys!
For the boys. Louise Renee asks, dream career outside of graphic design and video creation. Let me quote my favorite tweet. I do not dream of labor. No, I actually, when I read this, I realized that making videos and doing graphic design is in many ways my dream career. Just like making things. You know, I think that it just, like when I do these things, when I like make things for people, or like when I make things to make stuff look better for people, or when I create things to, you know, convey some sort of information and give it to people in a pretty way, it does make me happy. And I guess most other work I've tried in my life didn't do that for me. So I think like that's the magic one needs to be looking for, right? Yeah, so I think that how I think about it is that right now with a lot of these things, I feel kind of bad that I'm doing quite a lot of things all at once. So, you know, I do some illustration and graphic design, which don't always really overlap. And I make videos, and I feel like with all of these, I'm not really like super focused on just like one of these things getting like better. Like there's people of my age who will be doing like one of these things and will be so much better than me. So I think that I just need to kind of keep going, and eventually maybe there will be like a proper career where I'm combining all these 3 skills and it looks better than it looks now. I don't know if that makes any sense. I basically just wanted to say I'm really curious if there's gonna be more opportunities coming my way, but so far in the latest years, that's what's been happening, and it's really exciting to see all those little like roots of my career like getting their sort of bigger and better moments. And yeah, I'm hoping that it's only gonna keep going that way for all 3 of those. TM Orlovsky asks, do you own a car? Do you feel it's required to have a car when visiting or living in Scotland? We have a car, but we haven't had it for the longest time. I think that we've only had our car for the past 2 years. And until that point, it didn't really feel like we were missing it. Actually, I was kind of against having it because in my head it was like, well, it feels like we don't need it, and if we own it, there's gonna be so many fees and like just worries on top of our actual like current worries. It's like, is it worth it? I wasn't quite sure, but I think that it's proved really useful during some of our latest shoots. I would say that now that we worked on that Visit East Lothian shoot, it was like, I can't imagine doing that without a car. Like, we wouldn't be able to do that. I do have a couple of friends who do travel Scotland extensively without a car, just using trains and sometimes buses and ferries, and they don't even like have a driver's license, and they like their travels are impressive without a car. So I would say that like you definitely don't have to force it, as long as you're not lazy. You will be just fine using trains and buses and local transport. D. Changri asks, favorite date trip from Edinburgh? I would say that after this collaboration with East Lothian we just did, I would say North Berwick, because it's super cute. It has a really nice beach. You can visit the bird center. There's a lot of like cute attractions around it as well. And
ice cream!
Jesus Christ, honey! If you and Simon married, would you have your celebrations in Edinburgh or Prague, or both? I'm sorry, I can't read this out loud without being a child about it, because like Simon is just there, and like you're asking me about marriage. I think, like, when I used to think about this and I had no idea how expensive it is, especially over here, I always thought it would be great to have it in both places, you know, because like I definitely know that some people from Simon's family wouldn't be able to come over to Prague and vice versa, but I think that these days I would probably have like the main thing, which would probably still not be very big. It would still be quite budgety. I would have that here and hope that as many of my friends and family members could make it here, so, you know, they would have it like a bonus trip in it as well. And then maybe I would go to Prague and have like a party there of some sort, and again, like people from here would be very much invited to go there. It would be cheaper there, but I just feel like Edinburgh is more of my city now. So I feel like if we had the main wedding event in Prague, I think that neither me nor Simon would feel like that's our home. So to do that just for money and maybe convenience for some of our family members, yeah, it's probably gonna be here. I wanna have it at the Botanics, but it's expensive. Just Dia asks, how did you start your freelance career? Well, I feel like whenever I say I'm freelance, it sounds really cool because it sounds like, you know, I'm like an artist who has made it, but in fact, it kind of is the other way around because I was trying to get a regular employment and I totally failed at it. And as I was failing, I got the opportunity to have this kind of like ongoing freelance collaboration with a company I worked with before. and that's been going on since then. So I am technically a freelancer who has, you know, kind of on-off jobs, and obviously I do get some money from collaborations on like Instagram and YouTube and some ad revenue and things like that, and selling my merch. But most of my income comes from this like one single client, you could say. But I still have to do my own taxes. Boo! Dangerous P1 asks, best vegan food you had in Edinburgh? This is really hard because like I normally super love when people ask me for tips for like, you know, where to eat in Edinburgh. But after 2020, first of all, I totally lost track of what's going on. I only vaguely follow which businesses actually had to close down like forever, which ones are closed temporarily. It's always really hard when someone is coming over and the lockdown is still kind of going on and some places are open and some are closed, and I literally feel like I haven't eaten out in like 10 months now. So I think that the best vegan meal I had lately was this satay peanut curry that I made myself. It's with sweet potatoes and lentils and kale, and until that recipe I thought kale was disgusting, but it's not, it's really tasty. Lately I eat a lot of kale and things, and it's actually quite nice. Kind of like a, it's kind of cabbagey, isn't it? So as a Slav, I should love cabbage. So yeah. Kale. I'm one of those people now. One meal that I remember that was vegan that I really enjoyed was at Plant Bay down by Haymarket, which opened during the pandemic, so you know, good for them. I think that's owned by the same people who own Grams. I think that Grams probably also do quite a bit of vegan food, but they mostly do like healthy sort of like protein pancakes and things like that. So yeah, it was expensive but very tasty and very Instagrammable. Another question for Dangerous P1 is your favorite classic artist. So I think I would go with some of my favorite Czech classic artists. I'm risking now sounding like a total like basic Tumblr kid, but you know, Alfons Mucha is great and he's Czech, and I would say that his like more commercial work is beautiful, and I think it's great that it had such an impact on so many comic artists, and like especially kind of like artists of my generation, like digital artists who are kind of like both like comicsy, cartoony, but also, you know, you can see that inspiration in those styles that Mucha brought onto the art scene. But for me, I think that my favorite thing by him is the Slav Epic, which is this collection of huge paintings. He has worked for about 20 years, I think, on them, and it's these epic paintings inspired by Slavic mythology. And last time I saw the Slav Epic, I had tears in my eyes. I think that there's something about like it obviously being Slavic, so you know, it kind of appeals to my homesickness, you could say, but also it's the sheer size of the paintings. Serana17 asks, what software do you use to edit your videos? I edit in Adobe Premiere, but I don't want anyone to feel like that's the sort of software you need to have to edit like properly. I think that's kind of a myth. Also, like, Premiere is really expensive, and I'm benefiting from getting it kind of like through my work as well. So it's easier and cheaper for me to work with Premiere. But I think that like iMovie, yeah, that's the one on Macs. You know, stuff that kind of like comes with your computer is often just fine. Ooh, also from Serana17, where did you learn English? I love your accent. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Serana. I learned English in school. And also I lived with my gran, who was an English teacher for most of her life, so she always had quite a lot of like English magazines, and she would watch Euronews, which were in English on Czech TV. And then I think that I was quite lucky to have great teachers, especially in high school. Sam and Amy, they were great, and I think that they only made my passion for learning this language like keep going. What's the most beautiful place you've visited in Scotland? By Ion Row. I think that was that little loch we found just above Loch Ness. There was that whole area, kind of like when you go to Loch Ness and then you drive south of it. I'm gonna try and find a picture or a map and show you. Lemon Comet asks, do you see yourself living in Edinburgh for the rest of your life? Yes, actually. I would say that especially in like the last year or two, it started feeling like quite a comforting idea to stay here forever. I think that Scotland is quite a nice place for an introvert to settle down. I think that kind of the older I am, the less I feel like I need to live somewhere like London or New York, or I mean even Prague. Like they are all like very busy cities and I just don't really have the nerves for it anymore. While Scotland, I would say that in latest years, Scotland has had better weather than expected, and I think that global warming will make this a paradise. So I'm not leaving. I'm keeping this spot here, my settled status and everything. Travels of Chris asks, most underrated British food. We have discussed this before starting shooting this video, and I think that a lot of it is like British puddings. I think that a trifle is kind of weirdly famous for that scene in Friends, but trifle itself is amazing, like when you don't actually put meat in it. Although I understand how some Americans might just think, yeah, that's British cuisine, like just put some jam and beef together. I mean, mince pies, right? Anyway, yeah, trifle is amazing and you can kind of make it whatever you want as long as you put some booze in it. Some people don't, but that's a mistake. I would also say that haggis around the world is underrated because like people always get so hung up on what it's made of and it doesn't matter. I mean, guys, like if you eat a hot dog, there's much more stuff in a hot dog than there is in haggis, but at least haggis isn't lying to you about it. Silo Sabina asks, so you think Scotland will separate from UK? Well, I mean, we all hope it will. I don't know if I think it will. It's the system for it is kind of, it's all very complicated and convoluted. It kind of sounds to me like we can basically ask England to let us have another referendum, which seems kind of flawed in essence, doesn't it? It kind of sounds like, you know, like if you're a lady trying to divorce your husband, but you have to have your husband say, sure, yeah, let's do it, and not, you know, you have like no rights yourself. Anyway, so I guess that's to some extent, I have to hope that down in England the lawmakers and policymakers will let us have another go. I definitely think we should have another referendum, and I think if we did, it would go through this time. It would be great. I really want to go back into European Union, please. Another question for Silo Sabina. Something you miss the most from your home that you cannot find in Scotland? Kolache, especially frgal. That's the Moravian kind, and all baked goods in general. She also asks if I could essentially make a video about like dog-friendly places, which is a great idea, I think. We do have access to a dog, but she is insane, so I think we would need to borrow another dog for that video. Otherwise, I think that's a great idea, and I'm gonna get back to that. Franinchen, or Freninchen, is asking, will there ever be a silver version of the hairy Coupin? Well, thank you for shaming me, you know, in a video like that, because I definitely remember that I promised to you specifically that I'm gonna make a silver version, and then I didn't. I did make a rose gold limited edition version and a brass or copper limited edition version. They're gonna be on my Etsy store, which I am gonna try and reopen as soon as possible. UWH105 asks, do you prefer to see Arthur's seat from the top or... No, wait. Do you prefer to see Arthur's seat from the bottom or the view from the top? I think that I prefer to be at the bottom of it looking up, especially because like when you get to Holyrood Park and you kind of look up, it's this like plane and then Arthur's seat, and I just love like how it just feels so huge. I think that when you're on top, then, you know, you just can't catch your breath and you have a nice view, so it's good. But like you have nice views from many places in Edinburgh, but I think that it's kind of nice to have a view of Edinburgh, including Arthur's Seat, so I would prefer that. Miserable Face asks, why are you such a cutie? Thank you. Laura Parnanen asks, would and could you review places to stay in Edinburgh, like Airbnbs and smaller hotels, now affordable? That's interesting because I actually thought about this in like November or so. There were a lot of hotels that were kind of offering this like staycation thing, and I thought, I mean, it's still quite expensive. Like, it would still mean spending like 300 or 350 quid on a video, which sounds insane, but I was kind of excited for the idea of trying different like small local hotels. But I think that realistically, if I'm ever gonna do that, it will probably have to be out of a collaboration with the hotel itself. Okay, I am being informed that we are running out of time. I'm sorry if this is a super long video. Zemode68 asks, would you consider meeting up for a coffee or a pint and a paper shop when I am there next? And a shy emoji. So I think, you know, like, okay, with you specifically, like, we have been exchanging Christmas cards for the past couple of years and we talk pretty often, so I think that that is absolutely something that I would love to happen. Otherwise, like, it's kind of on a person-to-person basis. I love meeting up with people. Right now it's super hard, but once things get back to at least like close to the previous normal, I would love to meet more people. You know, always feel free to reach out to me. I don't always have time. I actually often don't have time, but if you are someone I have been in contact before and if we've talked on a semi-regular basis and you're coming to Edinburgh, please let me know. Like, maybe it's gonna fit into my schedule and I think it would be great to meet you. Also, someone asked if I'm planning to set up a PO box. I think that's actually kind of expensive at this point, so I'm probably not gonna do it anytime soon, but maybe in the future. If you want to send me stuff, send me an email and maybe we'll figure something out. Okay, so 3 minutes left, so I'm gonna thank you for all these wonderful questions. I feel really bad that we weren't able to finish all of them. I'm glad I got to answer the fanfiction one though. If there's anything else that you super need to know about me, ask me in the comment section. Thank you for being such an amazing community. I really love you all, and I will see you soon. Bye.